You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Welcome to my weekly review. The Nasdaq is in an uptrend, despite it's been whipping people back and forth. It's a whipsaw market. Last week Powell spoke, and every time he speaks, the market goes in three different directions. It goes up, down, sideways. But since January, it had this nice run. Give half of it back, and since it hit 10,982, it's been straight up. It went up over 12,000 last week, so that's a nice little gain. There you can see on March 13th, hit a low of 1092, and then this week we went up to on March 22nd, it hit 12,013. So that's a nice little run. Pull back a little bit, but it was up like 1.6% last week, and it's in an uptrend. When you see the 10, 21, 50 stacked, and heading in an uptrend, I mean, higher highs and higher lows. So, I know it's a really tough market. I know there's bad breath. Market internals are terrible, and there's only, a narrow leadership, few stocks driving the Nasdaq higher. But, we're going to play the hand that we're dealt here. And I'm going to go to weekly charts. Here's Apple. It was up more than 3% last week, and this is what's going to drive the Nasdaq higher. Stocks like that. And Microsoft was up a little bit last week. Meta was a stock on our watch list. It was up 5%, nice gain. It's a little extended here for me, but anyway, by the way, disclaimer, I don't tell people to buy and sell. And anyway, I was a teacher, and whenever I told a student to do something, they did the opposite. So that stuff really doesn't work. People are going to do what they want. They have easy access. Just click a mouse button, and you can buy and sell stocks real easily these days. And I know there's a lot of day traders out there that don't trust this market. Anyway, the computer software education media, this group, the industry group, is a top performing group in 2023. It's up nearly 40%. Duolingo is one of the reasons for that. And the other one is Spot. There you can see Spot here is one that I like, probably buy this week. Why? Well, because it's sold off since February of 2021. Anybody who hates this stock and wants out of it, well, they're out. And now you can see these blue bars. There's some buyers coming in. It's formed this stage one base with a little handle. So I like that. So I'm probably going to buy it and see what happens here. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next group that's doing well, and that's the automakers. They were up 40% in 2023, but pulled back a little bit. Tesla's the big dog in this one, and it pulled back and is having trouble. I'm going to go to the daily. I know it's a weekly review, but you can see it's having trouble at that 200 level on the daily. But anyway, I wouldn't bet against Elon Musk, smartest guy in the room. You don't bet against them. Anyway, Ferrari is another one in this group that's doing well. You can see that's a nice cup with handle pattern, nice pullback here and a shakeout. Was up 2% last week. And I'm going to move on to the semiconductors. First, I'm going to start with the fabless group, but I'm going to lump them all together, though, because I'm not going to do the manufacturing and the equipment. They're all doing well, pretty much. You can, throw a dart at this group, and they're all doing pretty well. NVIDIA is the leader, though. You can see from the bottom here. This is when we noticed this one was up. It made a low when the Nasdaq did on October 13th, and it was up 4 weeks in a row. So we definitely noticed that. Then it formed this little base, and now it's been up like, I can't even count. I'm running out of fingers here. Like 9 out of 10 weeks, and the 1 week that it was down had lower volume. So NVIDIA definitely a leader. AMD as well. This one's up sharply in 2023. And it was a buy. I got to go to the daily here on AMD because it had this little flat base pattern, had a buy here. I was late to the party here. It was a buy at like 89. I got it like 92. But anyway, stocks that I like. Oops, got to go back to the weekly. ACLS. We'll just go to the weekly here. You can see this, double bottom or neighbor or base on base pattern. And then it broke out, pulled back that 1 week that Elon talked about, the silicon carbide reduction, but oh well. It's still doing well. Another one doing really well is Allegro Microsystems. This had a base consolidation and then a larger base, and then broke out. Another stock that I like on the weekly, LSCC. I can't get to too many of these. This is another fabulous stock in with the NVIDIA and AMD group. This had a big cup with handle. You could see what 61 weeks, yeah, and then broke out and is moving higher, up 1.5% last week. Really like that stock. And there's another one that I like, AEHR. This one has earnings this week. I believe on the 30th, it was up 18% last week. Yeah, that's a pretty good week. Anyway, I'm going to stop right there with the semiconductors, but definitely a group that I like. I own probably too many of them in that group. The next group that I want to get to is the drug stocks. NVO is another one that was on our watch list at MC Stock Charts. It was up nearly 10% last week, had news from the Pioneer trial on Friday, I believe. But anyway, if you just look at the monthly, this thing's a monster. I mean, if you're going to, some guy told me about this back in the 90s, and I thought, it's too slow, and I didn't get into it like I should have, but always kept it on my radar, and it's really been a powerful stock. VRTX had news as well last week, and you can see the base on base pattern here, and it really had a nice week last week, up 6%. I should put that back on our leader stock. It's a loner stock. It marches to the beat of its own drum, and it's going to do what it's going to do. Anyway, TGTX, they came out with their new MS drug, and it launched, and it had this big move higher, and is now as consolidated. When it was at on February 15th at 1959, it was 149% above its 200 simple moving average, which is entirely way too hot. So what did it do? It digested the gains, pulled back, allowed the moving averages to catch up. And on Friday, it was 55.9% above its 200. So it's allowed the moving averages to catch up, pulled back on lighter volume. If this drug is successful, which I believe it will be, this looks like a bullish wedge right here. If it's successful, this thing will, it's going to do a lot better, I would think, because it could be like a really like $5 billion drug, and it's got 2 billion market cap. So anyway, I have high hopes for that. I'm going to move on. I'm going to go to the shoe stocks. I have a shoe fetish. This is ON. You can see why this one, ON, I should say, On Holdings. You can see why this one was on our watch list. This cup with handle, I know it just shook people out, and people ran out of patience with this thing. I bought it, ahead of earnings. Then once it announced the numbers, I bought it again, and it had a nice 46% week last week with massive volume. I don't really like the shoe, but I'm not going to fight that trend. And it's got a 20 billion, with market cap? Yeah, 20 billion market cap with about 1.2 billion in sales. So I'm not real sold on this. They have no debt, but like all the shoe manufacturers are saying that the supply chain issues are done. And so they're able to manufacture, and this one has great margins. So it's all about demand, because they can get the product to the people. And you can see this has got accelerating sales growth, and earnings is going to earn 38 cents this year. It's hard to get excited about that, but you cannot argue with these big blue volume bars. And that's ON. CROX is another one. I don't know what's going on. It's just digesting gains here. It went from 46 to 143, which is a big move, right? So it's digesting its gains, just handling out here. This one, though, it's got a PE of 10 or 11, so it's going to earn over $11, $118 stock, so it's less than 11 PE. It's got a debt, though, of a big debt load in a higher interest environment, high interest rate environment. Not good. They paid too much for Hey Dude, but Hey Dude has brought them in, nearly $1 billion in revenue last year. So that's going to pay for itself quickly. And once they get their debt down to, I don't know, pay off like half of the Hey Dude, when they acquire the acquisition, they're going to unleash their $1 billion stock buyback program. So to me, this is a better buy than ON. But that's just me. Once again, they're manufacturing. It's a molded shoe, so you just pour the material in a mold. There's no stitching or anything, so they can mass produce these things much quicker and easier and less costly than ON. I did want to point out the margins here. Margins were being reduced. They're a little promotional at Christmas time, and ON, they have massive margins because they sell their shoes for 180 bucks, where CROX is like, 30 bucks. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Another shoe company that I like, and they have a nice running shoe here. This is Deckers. They have the UGG shoe, and they have the Hoka. I guess it's a workout shoe, a running shoe. This stock was up 7% last week, $30. Nice move. Well, once again, though, this has got a PE of 24. I mean, give CROX half that PE. Between the 11 that CROX has and 24, give it a normal 18 PE, and CROX is a $200 stock. We'll see what happens here. I think that, this has got $18 in earnings this year. And what can you say? I mean, Deckers is a solid company, very popular products with their Uggs and their Hoka shoe. Anyway, I'm going to move on from this shoe. I mean, think about it. There's 7 billion people in this world, and most of us wear shoes. Some of us have 10, 20, or 100 pairs. So it's a big market. Anyway, I'm going to move on to ELF. This is, thought of as maybe a trade down, in a recession type environment, but I guess their products, people like them. I don't use them, but I'm going to say that this, if you look at the history of this stock, how it, after it formed this base and moved out, it forms these little shelves and then raises higher, forms a shelf and rises higher. It formed this little shelf. I'm going to say it broke out of this little shelf area on Friday. Last week, it was up 8%. I would not be surprised if this one ran higher in the next few weeks. That looks to me like a breakout on ELF. Anyway, ULTA, I got to go to the weekly charts. It's a weekly review. ULTA, pretty similar here, where it, broke out. Now it's forming this little shelf here, consolidation period. It was up 1.5% last week. Longer term, this is a thing of beauty. I love looking at the ULTA chart. That thing's a monster. And you probably know a lot of people who shop at Ulta Beauty. I certainly do. IPAR, this is a stock that's doing well, but it does not have the and it's not real liquid. The volume. $139 stock. It does what, a couple 100,000 in volume, 136. But you can't argue with the stock, the performance here from COVID, was down below 30, and now it's at 139. So it's been a nice 5-bagger pretty much for those holding it. The last group that I want to look at is the medical product stock. This is LNTH. It was a monster stock in 2022, and it just digested the gains. We kept it on our radar. I apologize. I'm going to go to the daily here, and you can see the cup with handle pattern. Nice little shakeout down to the 21 and then ripped higher. It's a little extended here, but still on my radar. I like that stock. Here's DXCM. If everybody is going to be taking that Wegovy and Ozempic that NVO is delivering, then I don't know if there's going to be a big need for DXCM. No, a lot of diabetics around the world, and DXCM is doing well, just consolidating here in a base here at lower levels. And the last one we're going to look at is TMDX. TMDX, thank you very much. Just a monster. This is Jonah Lupton Capital turned me onto this stock. Put it on the radar, didn't buy it, just watched it. Had this little consolidation period here and has been running higher. You can see these big blue volume bars. Anyway, that's it for the week. Good luck next week. Like I say, the Nasdaq is kind of a mess. It's twisted. It's very difficult. It's a stock picker's market. You got to be in the right stocks. You got to play a little smaller, a little faster. Don't hold and hope, because that's how you lose your profits. Anyway, we never give up. Thank you for watching. Have a good week.